right, welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Bloompulse to set up your framing business. So as you land on the dashboard, the first thing you see is the income bar. As you record more orders and as you make more money that month, the income bar continues to increase until you break even. But you also see the actual figure for the income for your business in the period in view. And then you can see how much money has come in. That's revenue. And then you can also see how much money that you spent. You can also change this view and see for different periods of time. Okay. So now we go to expenses. The typical expenses for a framing business would be rent, equipment, and salaries. For something like rent, you're paying your rent over a 1 year period, for instance. We break that down into 12 months. So you can see your rent costs 41,000 naira per month. For things like equipment, you specify the useful lifespan of the equipment. So for like a printer, you'd imagine the useful life of that printer should be 3 years. So break that down into monthly sums. So yeah, similar to rent is also 41,000. For salaries, because those are recurring, when you record them, you can set them as a recurring expense, and we automatically continue to roll it over for you every new month. And then you can also record day-to-day expenses like fuel or marketing like Instagram ads and so on and so forth. So let me just quickly add an expense to show you how it would look. So if I add an expense for office cleaner, and that is a utility bill, for instance, and that costs, let's say that costs 25,000, and we pay that every month, and it's a recurring expense. So continue. Yeah, you allocate the activities that that expense relates to. This allows us to be able to calculate how much each activity in your business is costing you, and you can see. I'll show you that in a moment. So for something like an office cleaner, for instance, that is totally non-production related. So I'd leave it as this. But for other expenses like the printer would be 100%. Yeah. For someone's salary, it would depend on what the person does. Does the person do customer interaction and do some packaging as well as custom quality inspection? So you set this for the different expenses. You could also just reuse something you've used already by selecting something. For instance, this is what we set up for rent, and this is what we set up for a salary. So if you go under activities, you would see, and this is automatically set up for you when you create your account and you select your business type. We automatically set up all the activities that relate to that business. Based on all the expenses you've recorded, we're able to show the total cost for each activity. For instance, here you can see non-production activities in this business cost 64,000, quality inspection cost 36,000, and so on and so forth. And then we're also able to break it down into a cost per hour based on a 8-hour, 5-day work week. And that's very useful to show you your cost price. But before we talk about the cost price, I would show you the store. So moving to the store, this is where you take inventory of the items that you use to create your product. The difference between the store and the expenses is that expenses are things you spend in your business, but they can't be easily measured into your product. For instance, rent is difficult to measure in your product. Equipment are difficult to measure. But with store, these are the things that you actually buy and you measure to create your product. So this is particularly for a framing business because you're making an actual frame. You need to buy different things to create the frame. For instance, ink, luster paper, backboard, acrylic sheets, and the different frames would be recorded here. So think of this like as an inventory. And the beautiful thing is that you can keep track of the different purchases and the amount you purchase them here. So every time you purchase this particular item, you can record it and it shows up here. As you use more of it, we are able to show you how much of it is left. So you can use this as a way to keep track of your inventory levels. Moving on into how you can set up product. So products are the things that you actually sell. For a typical framing business, the products would be the different styles of frames and the different types of prints that you offer. So each product also is made of variants, and the variants are the different sizes that you sell them for. So when you create a product, you would set the selling price. Now, this selling price can be changed when you're creating an order. This is just like a default selling price that you sell for each variant. In order for us to get the cost price, you go to configure product. And yeah, this is where you set the different store items that goes into creating the product, right? So for creating a frame, you need acrylic backboard and a frame and the actual frame. And then you set the measurements here. You also set add-ons depending on if the product use add-ons. For instance, add-ons could be if you do some kind of engraving for each frame. Engraving. So think of add-ons are things that you don't do within your business, right? But it goes into your product. So you pay an external party to do it. So it could be a thing, it could also be a service, right? Maybe you pay a special framer or a special designer to do something on this frame, and that goes into add-ons. And then finally, activities are the different business activities that you need to make this product. So making a frame requires customer interaction, woodwork, mounting and packaging, and quality inspection. When you set activities, the important thing about activities is that you need to think about how much time each activity consumes for creating a single unit of the product. So for a 16 by 20 frame, how much time are you using for inspection, for mounting, for create packaging it, and for woodwork and for customer interaction? Essentially, based on the cost per hour that we calculated from expenses, we're able to show you the total cost of each activity. And that all adds up to be the total cost price. And we also able to show you the margin that you make on each product. Then finally, we go to creating orders. So with orders, this is where you record the business that has come in and as they come in. So recording an order is pretty simple because you've configured your product already. You just click to configure the order. Also, like I said when you were setting up the product, the selling price is not fixed, right? So you can, if you negotiated a different amount, you can just set that here. You can also record if you've received full payment, yeah, and you could also record different notes based on whatever happened in the order. Yeah. So if you click on anyone, you can see more information about that order. You can record payments if as you receive full payment for it. You can see how much it cost you to produce that order and how much you've made in terms of profit as well. So it all adds up when you go to the dashboard. So next, I'm just going to show you how you can add members of your business on Bloompulse to do different things. You might want business members to record expenses. You might want some people to be able to record orders as they come in. You might want some people to be able to record inventory as they go to the market and purchase stuff. And the beautiful thing is that as you add these things, as you add expenses, it automatically updates your income and your cost price for your products. As you add store items, it also automatically updates how much your margins are changing, and you can see that automatically. So let's just go to add a member. Adding members is very easy. Yeah, you can see all the members in your business, and to invite a new person is just as simple as adding their email address and setting the permissions. So by default, all the members can record orders. They can also record expenses, but you might not want them to be able to, for instance, view financial analysis. So you leave this switched off, or you might not want them to be able to view all expenses. So in this case, even though they can record an expense, they won't be able to view expenses recorded by other people. This is good for if you want to keep private the information about salaries. So you record the salary information and other people won't be able to see it. Also, this works similarly for orders and store items. And well, for products, if you turn this off, if you leave this switched off, they won't be able to see products at all. But if you want them to be able to access products and maybe configure products or make changes to the selling price, you can turn this on and you send invites. So once you click the send invite, it sends the invite directly to the member's email, And once they accept the invite, they are able to access your business automatically.